What's up, dipshits? JJ back here with Mangone talking a little PGA. This time it's for the WGC St. Jude's Invitational starting on July 30th at 12 Eastern. As always, we'll briefly touch on last week's bets, and then we'll dive into the course, and bets will be on this week. Mangone, it's still good to have golf, but you got to be balls deep in baseball these days, right?
Oh, yeah, man. We're deep in that, and we're going to be deep in the hard court, man, with NBA tomorrow. So I can't wait. Yeah, deep in the MLB streets, the golf streets, NBA. I mean, it's a good time. It's a good time to not go outside and leave your house. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, so to recap last week briefly, our first losing week in 3 straight weeks? We had a little 8-unit run going there for a little while. We dropped, I think, a little over 2.5 units, about 2.7 units. Glover top 30, Paul Casey over Matt Wolf, the make the cut parlay, and then we hit on Harris English top 20, Harris English top 30 to get a little bit of it back. But otherwise looking forward to this week. And we're still up over 5.5 units for the year with these videos. I mean, I know it's only been like 5 or 6 small sample, but still relatively good. Now this course in particular, man, seeing a lot of big names in it. It's a course right before a major, right? Now, what are some points about this course in specific that maybe make this one a little different and maybe are curtailing the way you're handicapping it?
Yeah, so let's talk about this week. So if let's say you play DraftKings, right? If you're a bettor and you're looking down the board, you're like, okay, why are there not as many golfers? You're confused. There's not as many head-to-heads. That's because this field's a lot shorter. It's an invitational. I believe it's like 75 golfers or so. So the field's basically cut in half, and we got a no-cut event. So don't expect a cut at all. We don't have to worry about the make the cut parlays, which has definitely had their struggle. I had the struggle of some of my guys making the cut last week, so I'm excited to not have to worry about that.
There's few bets more fun to sweat though.
I will say you're not wrong. Those are definitely some good ones. I will say another one that's fun to bet are strikeout props. I love sweating that one out. That's always a good time. Yeah. When that's at 3
a roller coaster.
Oh yeah, especially when it's a guy that you're expecting to strike out, or if you get a strikeout on a guy you didn't expect. It's a good ride. But we don't have to have that wild ride in the make the cut parlay, so we can just kind of coast a little bit. And I'll admit, the no-cut events haven't been my forte overall. So I think I'm dialing it back a little bit on some of my units and some of my bets overall. But ultimately, just want to talk about the course real quick. JJ, I know you asked me about that. Some stuff I'm looking at, like scrambling, is going to be pretty important. If you look at Brooks Koepka last year, Koepka, I can never say his name right, but Brooks, man.
Koepka.
I always say it wrong, but he was number 1 in scrambling last year, right? And people talk about around the green game is really important. I think scrambling is gonna have some value here, but I think the key stat to look at is tee to green, and looking at some recent tee to green play is going to be important, because I think you really need an all-around game here. I think that's going to be what's valuable. I know it sounds lame, but that's kind of how these WGC events are designed, and I'm really looking at that stat mainly.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And it is a little different than the last few weeks, right? Because, I mean, ultimately, you're right. Much shorter field, but the quality's still there, right? A lot of good golfers in this field. Now, for this week in particular, maybe what's your first – this week we'll start with the outrights, right? Last week I think we did outrights last. This week we start with outrights. And we're all going to go probably half unit combined for these. Who are some guys you're on that you think got a good shot to at least land this ship?
Yeah, I'll admit, half unit again this week. Going to keep a conservative bankroll because we have a major next week, man. We can shelve out all the cash. I don't know if I have money nearby me I can throw around, but that's where I want to be throwing the money around in the outrights. That's always fun during a major. But just 0.5 units, and we're going to start with Xander Schofley at 20-1 on the DK or FanDuel book. You can grab him there. I love Xander in this spot. I just think he's such a good all-around player. He's really good in he's been pretty good in no-cut events in general. And if you look at some of his stats, right? He's been putting the ball pretty poorly. And those are the type of guys that are about to pop, right? And if we get 4 rounds of that, and when that putter can just turn on a dime, that's absolutely massive upside waiting to happen. So love Xander here in this spot. Got him at 20-1. Now the next thing I'm going to go to is Patrick Reed, Fat Pat, the villain, whatever you want to call him. Listen, he's whenever he's at the top of the leaderboard, charging up. If you don't have him, it's not a fun ride, but when you have him, it's a lot of fun. He gets into it. He's absolutely awesome. And we're going to put 0.2 units down at 35-1. And I debated. I went back and forth between him and Hideki. I like Hideki. He's had his putting struggles. I think both of them are really good plays. But ultimately, the thing I like about Patrick Reed is some of the corollary stats. Like people talk about how putting is important here, the around the green game. I mean, that's all Patrick Reed. And overall, he's been pretty good. Even tee to green wasn't bad. One thing, too, with Patrick Reed is I like to play him when he's streaking, right? He's the type of golfer, when you play him, you ride that streak. And he got a top 10 last week. I'm not saying that, the streak already happened, but I'm trying to get on early. I want to ride Zorro, right away. I want to be jumping on and going at it. So I want to get on Fat Pat right now. So give me Patrick Reed at 0.2 units. And I'm going to go back to Sergio, man. Again, it's been terrible putting, but everything else has been amazing. I mean, if the dude could just putt it, it would be phenomenal. All the stats line up. It's a long shot, right? 70-1 on the DK book. He was the guy that I ended up going with over there as my long shot. Again, 0.1 units.
And I'll tell you this: last week, Max Homa almost came through for us, right? I mean, that would have been something. He really shined his girth. I think he had one bad day. He doesn't have that one collapse day. He probably wins running away with it. But no, he played really good. And I like the calls this week too. Look, Pat Reed obviously is what he is, but the odds are definitely lower than they typically are for him, or higher, I guess, however you envision it. But ultimately, they're juicy, which is nice. Now,
well, one thing, JJ, I want to mention, you can also, let's say you don't want to make one of these outright bets right now. You can always wait on it, right? Let's say you're I'm indifferent on Patrick Reed. You can wait and see how his game is developing. You have 4 rounds, right? You're not worrying about having to make the cut. A guy can easily, have a bad first day too and get a better line. Again, you could also miss that line too, but that's something you can mess with in the no cut events, which makes this a little bit different. Also, want to mention Max Homa. I actually cashed that ticket out, JJ. So what happened was I was on with the Keg guys, and I sat there and he had a really bad shot. They said it was awful. And I hadn't been paying attention to the golf. I closed the laptop on Friday. It did not go well for me. My top 3 guys missed the cut in DFS. So I hadn't really been paying too close attention. And when I got on with the Keg guys, Homa had a really bad shot on the last hole. He was within striking distance, but the guys in the chat, they were watching, and they said, Homa has no shot at birdieing that hole. If you can cash out for double your money, do it. So I cashed that bad boy out for double my money. So I got a little bit back at least. So
nice. Always good to see. I don't utilize the cash out option probably as much as I should, but if you're a hedger, it makes a lot of sense. Especially if the money makes sense as far as the longevity, especially a golf tournament for 4 days. If you can get out of a hole that you think you might be entering, like you said on that one hole,
yeah,
no pun intended,
he just had a really bad shot, JJ, and everyone in the chat was he there's no way he birdies this hole. If he does, it's a miracle. And on top of that, he needed the guy in first to also bogey. So again, it was just tracking the tournament, and that's the ways you can kind of grind out some units, which can always be good.
Yeah, no, makes a lot of sense. As you guys could see, I've kind of upgraded my wardrobe. I have my golf polo on today. I have my my snapback on today. With the Harris English winners last week, moves me to 5-0, so it's time to start looking like a golfer. That's what Mangone comes on here always looking like a golfer. I gotta kind of move to his beat as well. This week, I'm definitely big with Mangone on Xander. So my favorite bet here, full unit, Xander Schofley top 20 at plus 100. That's on DraftKings. So hoping to stay hot there and stay undefeated for the year in golf from the bets I give out. And we'll see how it goes. I'll grab the rosary beads. Now, Mangone, as far as you're on a few other bets for this tournament, right? What else you like before we close this video out?
Yeah, and listen, I like that when we got on, we both like the Xander call, so we're in sync there. And man, that swag, you look better than me right now, JJ. I'm typically the best looking one on this little video. You take it this week. You're the best looking one on the show.
I never hear that, so I'll take it.
Yeah, it's the small victories. You got to take them when you can get them. So, like that Xander bet. That's a good one. I'll have a lot of him in DFS for sure. So we're giving out 2 bets, but we're gonna dial it back again. Like I said, I'm not big on it this week, but we're gonna dial it back. That way, we're not killing all of our units. We're gonna do 0.75 units on these 2 bets. Typically, we've done 3 units at 1 unit each. So, that's what we're going to do here for these 2 bets that I'm giving out. So we're going to go with Abraham Answer. We're going to get this at plus 100, which I really like. And he gets to go up against Ricky Fowler. And listen, Ricky Fowler, he's definitely a guy that I hate. I fade a ton, and I'm just not buying him too much. I don't think this is, the greatest spot for him. I'd rather be on Abraham Answer. He's been so good since the restart. Yeah, he had that One really, really bad round, but he ended up making the cut still, even though he was so bad with his irons. I mean, he was terrible with his irons. I don't expect him to be that bad again. I'm going to be back on Abe Answer here, plus 100, getting dog money against Ricky Fowler. I'm in on that. And then, again, like I didn't love this, entire betting card. And I was just kind of searching around, trying to find something with value. And something that really stuck out to me that I thought was an interesting one. And I really don't mess with these too much, but I thought Rory Mcilroy was in a really, really good spot here. I know a lot of people think that this is a good opportunity for him to win this whole thing. I know that was definitely a conversation that people have been saying. I mean, obviously, he's one of the best golfers in the world, but people think that the WGC is where he can pop. He's had a ton of top 10s. And instead of really betting that top 10, let's get some security here and go top 4 euro. At minus 125. I like that. I think that's a pretty good bet. We'll put 0.75 units down on that. And again, like he's got to beat guys like John Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton, Matthew Fitzpatrick, which again, there's some good golfers there, but we get to fade guys like, Patrick Cantlay, Bryson, who just wins everything, right? JJ, he'll be up there probably above Rory. We get to obviously we get to miss out on the top 10. I'm okay with that. I think getting the top 4 euro is better value. So at minus 125, I'm in on that for Rory McIlroy on the DraftKings Sportsbook.
Yeah, and the thing with Rory is like, and from what I've seen the last few weeks from him is like he goes through it seems like he's about to go on a roll, right? 3 or 4 birdies in 5-6 holes, and then like he just consistently gives 1 or 2 strokes back like within the next 2 holes. It's very strange. It's got to be something mental. So hopefully, kind of gets over that hurdle heading into the major. But it kind of makes a lot of sense, right? That he just kind of snaps out of it. But
yeah, I like it a lot. Like, and one thing I'll say too, JJ, is like, man, my heart is torn. I have to debate between Bryson or Rory at the top, and like, man, like, it's one of those moments. My heart wants Bryson, but my head says Rory. So, I don't know what I'm going to do in DFS exactly, but I do think it's a really good Rory week.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. To recap, final bets. I'm on Xander, top 20 plus 100. Mangone, the specific outrights you had, you don't have to say the units, but who were the guys you were on specifically?
Xander, Pat Reed, and Sergio.
Awesome. And then just to recap those 2 matchup bets, you had the Euro and the head-to-head with Fowler.
Yeah, Rory, top 4 euro, minus 125 in the DK book, and then Abraham Answer, plus 100 against Ricky Fowler. And that's on the Bet365 book. Forgot to mention that. So over on Bet365 is where you get that answer line. On the DK book, you can get it against Hideki, but man, we'll take that over Fowler instead of Hideki. I refuse to bet against Hideki instead of Fowler. It's an easy one.
All right. Yeah. Well, Mangone, thanks for popping in again. And everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to drop any comment chat below before the tournament starts tomorrow. We'll try to answer all the questions you have, if any. Obviously, we got some more baseball coming and then basketball tomorrow as well. Going to be a live show with the Keg on here as well while they sweat a bunch of different action for tomorrow. More live shows this weekend, including for UFC. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you again for everyone for watching this video, and stay safe.